This is the Brave Ideas Podcast, brought to you by Aqua, part of the Wonderman Network. Welcome to episode 28 of the Brave Ideas Podcast, the show that is all about bringing to light fresh perspectives from the worlds of digital and marketing. I'm Dan Herman. I'm a digital strategist. I'm craving cheesy nachos, and I speak basic Spanish. And today I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Esther McGeer, Head of Conversation Analytics at Aqua, and proud script repeater of 10 Things I Hate About You, word for word.
Today we are thrilled to have Sofia Adarve, Usability Analyst at Aqua, with us on the show. Sofia is a former product designer, a native of Medellin, Colombia, with an O, who once dressed up as the Snapchat rainbow face for Halloween. And today, she's going to talk to us about designing for experience. Sofia, what's new?
Hi, everyone. I'm speaking today about how a product design engineer fits in the UX world.
So, how does a product design engineer fit into the UX world?
Okay, first of all, I think I'll start explaining what product design engineer is. Product design engineer is basically a measure of industrial design with mechanical engineer and marketing. So we basically can design a rocket or a lamp in theory.
Wow, that's hot.
But like how it fits with digital is the same approach that we take to design a rocket is the same approach that we take to design an app or a simple, page on a website.
If I'm understanding what you're saying correctly, is that there's a lot of synergy between designing things for the real world and designing things for the digital space. So I'd be quite interested for you to get into the methodology of how you design things for the real world and then how does that connect
Correct. So what we have to understand is to design any specific or any kind of product, we need to base everything on a specific user, the user-centric approach. So even if you're going to design a car for a specific person, you're going to design an app for a specific target users, this is the same approach. You need to understand the user, how the things, what it consumes, what do they know as well. This is very important because we're not going to reinvent the wheel. If they know exactly how to use a toothbrush, well, we're going to reinvent how to use it. So this is exactly what we were speaking earlier, like before we used to create products for specific needs that the users have every day. But now we design for the experience and how we adapting ourselves to the new requirements the users have. And because they're asking for more and more, we need to just be capable to just go for that. So how do I feel that I fit in this field is because I basically have a disease of overthinking.
No, I must be honest, Sophia, I know Sophia quite well, and she really does have a disease. We can't go to the movies without discussing where the cup holder is.
Correct.
And whether it's in the right position. Like, it's in your mind constantly. So unpack that for us.
Yes,
like,
it's
how
quite
does
uncomfortable
it fit
to be
into this
around
world?
me if we go to restaurants or like we go anywhere because I'm always thinking why and how products that's being designed. So this is how we grew up, and that was my career about. So we actually had the opportunity when I was studying to create a car, and the university gave us the engine, and we have to create the chassis, and we have to create everything. But that was specifically for a selected user and a specific need. And then we have to make that a specific task like a pleasant experience. So this is exactly how we do and how do I work here. So what is new for me now is that before I have the physical product experience and now I have to translate that, everything that we're doing in digital.
So I just want to pick up on something you're saying, because I mean, obviously I know that you're insane and you're sick, basically. But besides for that, I think what's really interesting about what you're saying is this idea that there's a difference between a need and an experience. And I'd like to unpack that a bit further because I'd like to know why you feel that these two things are distinct.
Correct. So before we used to go to the bank and perform a task like transfer money, draw money, etc. And then that was what we thought, that's what we knew. And this is the only way that we thought it was going to be. And we never thought it was uncomfortable or like we just knew and make space in our day to do that. Now we have something new. We can do our banking online and you can do it anywhere you are. This is a new experience. It was basically not a need. No one says we need to do this banking online. It's something that we just improve the experience how to do it. So maybe this example is have a need and have something experience, but this is exactly what we say. Like, we create new behaviors. As designers, we are responsible of creating new behaviors. And to create new behaviors is a big responsibility to make it user-friendly and like not interrupt or just create new stuff. The way that we used to socialize, the way that you used to meet people, like I say, banking, book holidays, all these things they require a different interaction with other human beings and with other type of products, physical products and places. Now we can do everything digital. So that's why I'm saying my career has such a big impact in what I'm doing, because we need to see the transition and how this converted, like how you used to do things in a different way, and now we're leading to do things in the other way.
I completely agree with you. Like, even when it comes to basic products that we're designing today or basic experiences, all of them touch on digital and the Internet of Things, really. So the car you use, for example, touches on digital and is driven by digital, etc. Where do you think currently in the digital space we're missing the mark between product design and designing a simple website, for example? One of the things that we spoke about previously was how we're designing websites because we as the clients want something to happen. We want people to, for instance, log in and purchase a product. But if we're looking at product design and we're looking at user experience, where are we missing the mark there?
So that is also very important, like me, as working as a digital agency and trying to just be focused on digital products. We have the everyday conversations with our brands and our clients, and they basically say we want to sell more, and then we have to just kind of stop them and say why we want this, and also ask yourself and your clients what they really want. So we are normally like the voice of the user in this kind of meetings, and we say, I know you want this, but the actual user wants that. So we actually are responsible to even change the routes of the projects when they require to be changed.
Change the approach even.
Correct, because for example, they say you want a responsive product that works in different devices, but like your user targets are actually not using that specific device. So we sometimes had like stop and rethink the whole approach. It's like, I know in your mind you want to sell specific things, but like it's why you want to sell it and why you think your users needs this, because some of the people don't actually need it. Not everything has to be solved with an app. Not everything has to be on my phone.
Yeah.
You know, so we lack in the communication, like, because we are moving so fast, we think that we need that, but it's basically no. Like, I was actually watching something yesterday, pretty amazing, like these 3D printers now. A couple of years ago, it was something that it was only accessible for people that know how to operate the software and the machine, which is a huge machine and takes hours and has a lot of calculations involved. Now it's a new product you buy for $99 that you actually can print 3D from your phone. So you take a photo or you have a specific shape and you can print it in a couple of hours on your phone. So we are now creating new behaviors. Is this needed? We don't know. But it's like this kind of things, like we are responsible for everything that we're creating.
So I think it's really interesting, and I love this idea that there's this challenge between what client wants and what the users are looking for. And I think that's something that manifests in a lot of different spaces, not simply from a user experience perspective, but across different things. But I'd like to come back to something you spoke about earlier, which is about how product design is about driving new behaviors. And I just want to unpack and understand that a bit more, because I'd like to know why a brand in the digital space is looking to create new behaviors, and not even why they're looking, how they can do that digitally.
So I think what's happening right now, what I would just think is like the trend in the world right now is like I said before, we're going everything digital, and we had a set of the specific devices that are actually accessible for everybody. So we only have basically desktop, tablet, smartphones, and some feature phones. We only have this range of devices to work with. And basically everybody can offer the same offering. So pretty much all the banks now have a banking app. What is the competition that is create like new behaviors or new experiences to make the experience simpler in terms of anything? So for example, one simple product in one bank app would be like make the transfer instead of 5 steps as an example, make it 3. Because what we know now is that we now as consumers, we actually chosen products and we actually criticize products in a different way. Before it was, what is the value and how cheaper it could be. We now have all the standards. So like now we judge it, how quick I can get it. Can I use it on my phone? Can I add additional things like can I part of transfer money on my banking app? Can I do it to an SMS? Or like WeChat, now I can transfer money online. This kind of things like it was not needed before. But just those value apps actually makes the user just kind of love this brand more, just for the specific
So now
things.
it's not just, different brands have different websites and they all kind of work the same, etc. It's about what extra product that website gives me that makes my life easier. Or that runs easier.
Like many, and this is the thing, like we just perceive these brands like that for the kind of benefit that I offer. Like everybody or many people used to think, like probably our parents thinks that like Uber is a car service or like taxi service, which is an app. So this is the kind of things like, and I'm sure if there's another app in future that like make something that we see on Uber much simpler, you just go for it. You just now that's the behavior. You demand this. You demand that things go faster now.
Yeah. So, I mean, I share that experience. I just recently got Netflix, and I have to say that the user experience and the ease of use of Netflix makes it immediately compelling over a range of different services. And that user experience extends not just in how you navigate, but also how it just works. Awesome. Thanks, Soph. I think that's really great and interesting information. It's been a great conversation as well. I'd like to ask you one final question, which is if there was one thing you could take out of this conversation for Aqua as well as the broader industry, what would that be?
So, like I said, like we are in a digital agency and a digital area, but like we need to step back sometimes and ask why we're consuming the products that we're consuming now digitally, and like we need to think about the experience overall, and just we know better, and our users knows better. We need to have that in mind. That like expecting, and we are competing with absolutely the world, because it's not just the local banking sites that we have. It's actually the user can research what other users are doing overseas. So we need to just always have our mind open to see that it's not in a digital world, obviously, but also in other kind of products. We need to just be aware what is happening out there, and every one of the agents, people of the agency, need to be aware that like things are changing very quickly, and we have to learn quicker than our users.
I love the idea that with digital, it's a product that can always be optimized on a daily basis, even, and that changes constantly. It's very.
And we have users so young now, like kids are like researching about things online, and they're consuming information in a different way, and they know better, and they expect things to work easily, because now even kids 3 years old have iPads as toys. Like now we have to think about design iPads for kids. Like those kind of things, we didn't think about this before, and this is a real fact.
So Sophie, if kids from the age of 3 up until adults want to get hold of you, want to find out more about product design, where can they do that? Where can they contact you?
Okay, so yeah, my name is Sofia Adarve. I know in English we pronounce Sofia Adarve, but like my email address is sofia@aquaonline.com.
Thanks, Soph, and thank you for listening to the Brave Ideas podcast. If you liked what you heard, please subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube. And while you're there, give us a rating and a review.
For more awesome content, please visit the Brave Ideas blog, which you can find at aquaonline.com/Brave Ideas podcast. Also, if you want to get involved in the conversation, please follow @Aqua Brave Ideas on Twitter or Brave Ideas Podcast on Instagram.
If you want to keep in touch with me, Dan, you can follow me at elhermo, ELHERMO, on Twitter, and elhermo23 on Snapchat and Instagram. And you can get in touch with Esther.
You can email me at esterm@aquaonline.com.
Special thank you to Sofia Adarve, our guest. Thanks to Matthew Klawansky for music and production. Thanks to Johann, Botha, and Eras Host for the art direction. And to our distribution team, Magesh, Ramsammy, Kirsten, Wiggill, Helen, Seimenis, and Sabelo, Khanyile.
That brings us to the end of the show. We'll leave you with one final thought. There are no original ideas, only original people.